but I hear it.
Williams there on Radio Mini 88.3 FM, the Catholic radio station for all. Into the very last hour, my dear listener. And as I told you, today we begin our sessions again every Wednesday with the Grace on Living by Design segment, my dear listener. And I told you that you're going to be having a very, very interesting conversation. Let me ask you, my dear listener, have you ever started the year full of energy, clear goals and big resolutions, only for you to feel stuck, exhausted, or overwhelmed just a few weeks in? Think about it. Just think about it, my dear listener. Let me remind you, by the way, you are not lazy, you are not undisciplined, you are definitely not failing. But what if the real issue isn't your willpower, but your nervous system? That is it, my dear listener. So today on Live by Design, I'm joined by Grace Kariuki, a family and marriage therapist, as we introduce our January theme. Your dysregulated nervous system may be the reason your New Year's resolutions feel impossible to achieve. That is the theme of this January, my dear listener. Many of us set goals while our bodies are still stuck in survival mode. Anxious, burnouts, emotionally drained, right? And when the nervous system is overwhelmed, even good intentions can feel heavy and unreachable. So today, we are slowing things down. We are helping you understand what's happening inside you so you can stop fighting yourself and start designing a life that actually works for you. Right? And that is exactly why Grace is joining me in studio this morning. A very good morning to you, Grace.
Good morning.
Happy New Year.
And to you too.
Imagine the last time we met was last year.
was last Nakwambia.
Last year.
So we are beginning the year with a lot of energy.
Exactly.
Tuelewe zaidi.
Yes. And a lot of hope.
Yes.
Okay.
So that we can move from stagnation, from feeling stuck, and into creating ways of really enjoying the plans that we keep having as resolutions at the end.
Exactly.
The beginning of the year.
And I like your choice of words, Grace. Enjoy.
You
see? So some of us are too mechanical in life.
Kabisa. Unajua, you know, I don't know about other communities, your church community where you are.
Yeah.
But every church that I am encountering, they are having a theme.
Exactly.
For the year.
Yes, you see.
People should share with us on the nini.
On SMS line.
Watu wambie. Team yenyu.
Ni gani?
Nitaanza na yangu. Yangu inasema, journeying with the God that restores.
I like that.
Amos 9:11.
Yes.
Journeying with the God that restores.
Very, very interesting. Very motivating, because sometimes, you know, Grace, we deal with God as if we want him to operate in our own terms.
Yes.
We forget that he's all-powerful God.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
That he operates outside the time frame.
And you see, he's infinite.
Yes.
And we are finite.
Exactly.
So he is limitless. We are limited.
Exactly.
You see, he is all-knowing, as we know just what we know.
What we know.
You see? And so can you imagine partnering with such a God?
Imagine.
Because many of us, why do we struggle with consistency with goals? Why do we struggle with procrastination? Why do we struggle with feeling stuck? Is because we are relying on our limitations.
Yeah.
And our limitations, they live in our subconscious.
Good.
You see, and when we get into a space where we start saying, oh, I can't, that's too hard, what happens? Adrenaline and cortisol and other stress hormones, they are triggered in the brain, and that chemical reaction. Sasa ndio tunasema unasikia mabutterfly kwa tumbo, unasikia ni kama utaenda kukojoa. You know, you start, your body, your nervous system goes into survival mode.
All right.
It goes into alert mode. You see? Now, when we are talking about these themes, that we are getting in our churches. It's part of what God wants us to do in order for us to connect with him so that our nervous system can go into safety.
Okay.
Because the Bible says that I am with you. Even through the waters, even through anything that you are going through, allow yourself to connect with this safety, because our nervous system is usually dysregulated because we don't feel safe.
Okay.
And that's the way God created us. But then when he says, do not be afraid because I am with you. When he says, you are the apple of my eye. What touches you touches what is very precious to me. We better believe that. Our body needs to know that. Our mind knows it. Our spirit knows it. But does our body know it?
Well.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is what in this month of January, we empower people to understand that when you are having a headache because you are overthinking something, there is nothing wrong with you. That is your coping strategy. Okay. Worry is a coping strategy. Because you are trying to fix something that you do not have power to fix, and you do not have the resources to do what? To fix it. Yeah. So what are you doing? You are constantly overthinking as a strategy, so that it feels like you are working. But really, your body has gone into survival mode. You are on alert mode, and therefore, your body is dysregulated. Okay. And we learned that from the environment we grew up in. And some of us, I remember, I struggled with consistency in creating wealth. But it starts with a core belief. And what is my core belief? Hakuna pesa.
Okay.
And what does that core belief? It branches out to many other beliefs. An example of those other beliefs are watu wenye wako na pesa ndio huwa wana save. You see?
Yeah.
So when I see these groups that come up every beginning of the year and the 52-week challenge. Ya kusave pesa. So what do I tell myself? Is that I don't have the money to save, because the money I have is just enough for me to survive. You see? And we know now, I have learned. I learned this, that the people that in my community who I used to look at, and they have a lot of money, I realized these people were living on loans.
Yeah.
Because they had a job. And so they used that income to create other incomes. It's not that they had disposable income. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying, that in order for us to succeed this year, we've got to understand how our system, our nervous system, has been conditioned to believe. Because the moment now, for instance, if I am disappointed, and I consistently felt disappointed all through my life. So what happens today if now I am meeting a new person who has not been in my past, but then they disappoint me? I go back to the old ways of dealing with disappointment.
Okay.
You see? So my body, at that moment, my body takes over. Now it's not my logical grown mind. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because with every disappointment, there is a lesson. But you see, as we don't take the lesson, we focus on the pain. We focus on that disappointment. And therefore, our body stays hyper-aroused. Our body begins to really deal with people from that conditioned space. We are not growing.
Yeah.
So the moment somebody lies to me, I immediately go to the old ways that I used to deal. I have learned, I have conditioned myself to think that way. So what are we saying? We are saying, because it is a learned behavior, a learned belief system, a learned action, you can shift it. If you live, now the information, all this information we shared last year, if you can take that information this year and practically start living in that healed space, then you can create new ways of thinking. And that is what the neuroscientists call neuroplasticity.
Okay.
That your brain has the ability to rebuild itself. And so now, because you see your brain, the way that we condition it to think about certain negative experiences, happy experiences, you know, by the way, we keep talking about the negative. The sanguine, for instance, the sanguine and the choleric, because they are outgoing, they are activity oriented, and they love to have a lot of fun and all that.
Yeah.
When they are happy, what do? Twende sherehe. So when they go to sherehe, there are things there that happen. Whatever the choices of sherehe they take, there are consequences, negative consequences for that. You see? So they keep doing the same thing, and they keep ending up the same place. You see?
Okay.
So we need to understand it's not just the people who overthink over negative, but it's also the people who get excited and hyper aroused by this high adrenaline and dopamine. And then you go do action. You go do something, and later on you are regretting what happened. So you stay stuck.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all of us, we need to kind of understand, how does my nervous system, especially if we look at the things we want to change, you look at them as a process and ask yourself, where do I normally start, and where do I usually get stuck, and where do I keep repeating the same cycle?
Okay.
People who are trying to stop drinking, for instance, and they say, oh, I can go 3 months. So what happens that you go back to drinking again? You see, how come these 3 months of sobriety did not transform you to the point where you don't go back? It's because your body has not transformed.
Yeah, because many people, Grace, will say that I know what I want to do, but I just can't seem to do it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that is rooted. That's why a marriage and family therapist is the best person to go to when you are seeking personal. Don't go to a coach. You can go to a coach for you guys to develop a plan of how, but then when you keep going back to the old, then what you want to do is to make sure that you seek a deeper, because you see, as marriage and family therapists, we are trained to look at you as a system, part of a system, so that we can help you understand. Now, for instance, let me give an example. If whether you are a man or a woman, and mom and dad used to have a very conflicted relationship, and probably mom used to be beaten verbally and physically, and emotionally, what we call browbeating, just a lot of chaos, kutukanwa, all those things. You as a child, whether you are a girl or a woman or a man, what happened to you? You became very helpless.
Okay.
Because you couldn't protect your mother from what dad was doing to her, and neither could you get your dad to change, to stop doing that. Yeah. So what did you do? You found a way to soothe your mom. You see? So you developed a strategy, and that is how now we have people who are enmeshed with their dysregulated moms.
Okay.
We have people who are enmeshed, or they are disconnected, or they have this fearful avoidant attachment with their father. Because dad provided school fees, but then this provision came with the emotional abuse. Yeah. You see, those are the words we use. A lot of people don't like to use the word abuse because it sounds like we are demonizing somebody. But we are not really demonizing somebody. What we are saying is that your subjective experience of the ecosystem you grew up in impacted how you developed as a person. Yeah. Your thinking patterns and your personality, how it was shaped. So when we talk about the 4 temperaments, you can't change that. That's the way you are wired. But then as you come, you see, as a phlegmatic, your way of survival is to avoid. So you don't express, you leave it in your head. And if your secondary is a melancholic, then you are going to become this person who is hyper independent because the melancholic is a problem solver. Yeah. And now the phlegmatic is also, because the phlegmatic is also very strategic in terms of thinking through things. So what? But the difference between the melancholic and the phleg is that the melancholic will action it, but the phleg may not. As long as it's going to be a disharmony, the phlegmatic will pull away from actionating.
Okay.
So they kind of live in this fantasy of that everything is okay. And now the choleric and the sanguine, they are very different, because they are expressors. So they may not overthink on things, but they are going to express as they think. And that is why you see the people who use abusive language, yani kutukanana. Look at them, and they are probably either they have a choleric nature or a sanguine nature, because as they think, they talk.
Okay.
You see, their coping mechanism and their coping strategy is ni kukupasha. You see, lakini coping strategy na coping mechanism ya the introverts ni kukusikiza, and then they will block you. You see?
Yeah.
So they may be sitting there, you will see. For the phleg, they become flat. For the melancholic, you can see. Na naonanga watu wanasema, even when I have a couple that are there for session, waanze kuongelelea kitu, the melancholic spouse will have a facial expression, a shift in the mood, a shift in the facial expression, and immediately the other one will go like, unaona, ndio sababu sipendangi kuongea na wewe. You see?
Wow.
So we are breaking our relationship. Interpersonal tension grows because our nervous system, when it is awakened, it's going to be sending some messages that words don't have to be there. You see? But you see, it is not starting with the relationship, it's starting with me. So inside, the moment you say something, and then that something triggers me in a negative way, in a positive way, I start to experience that, and my communication, which includes tone of voice and body language, is going to be triggered.
Yeah.
And my partner, the person I'm talking to, whether it's my child, is going to experience that communication of my nervous system. You see? So that's why people will tell them, so no, sasa you don't believe me. You see? And the other person says, what do you mean I don't believe you? Because there was a communication that triggered a conditioning, a belief system, a core belief. That mtu akifanya hiyo kitu ni kuonyesha haniamini.
Okay, and it is that nervous system that is going to determine how other people are going to experience me.
Yes.
Before we go deeper, there is a question here from Leah. She says, Grace, before you delve deeper, please clarify, are we talking about the nervous system in the context of the mind, or how are we to relate to them?
Now, the what we want to do, I am doing a class on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, Leah, tafadhali, it's free, and I'm going to be explaining that whole thing of our system, the whole system, the mind, the emotions. So the minds is the thoughts, the emotions are those the feelings that come, and then there is what we call now the thinking patterns.
Yeah.
And then there is now the bodily reaction. So when I'm talking about your nervous system, I am talking about all of that, but mainly I'm talking about your body's reaction.
Okay.
So for instance, if you are afraid, you know, for you, Bramwel, ukisikia uko when you are really afraid, because that is a feeling because of what is happening within your environment. How does your body react to that? You personally, for me, roho inaanzanga kupiga, and then I might start to feel shaky.
Yes.
That's my nervous system.
Mimi baridi naingia.
Alafu watu wengine wananzanga kukakuwa na kasweat.
Yes.
Some people, their face flashes. They feel hot in their face. Yeah. Some people, their hands just clench. Yeah. Those are cholerics because they are ready for a fight. The person who is going to be feeling things inside, the things that may not be apparent to other people, that's the phleg.
Okay.
And then the sanguine is going to be feeling flighty. They want to run. You see?
Yeah.
They want to escape this feeling. and the melancholic is going to just kind of, you will see the light going off. You see?
Yeah.
So when people, to answer Leah's question, today I am focusing, and this month I will be focusing on how your body reacts to your feelings of fear. Because every negative thing that usually your body is going to react to the root is fear. It is the fear of not knowing, the fear of the fear of danger. It is that danger, the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Have you ever seen somebody? Let me say this. A long time ago, I used to have this very bad, dark dream. And in the dream, I would feel like somebody is trying to assault me sexually. So in the dream, that's what I was seeing, this person. It's not, you know how dreams are, they are not clear. Yeah. And I would feel, and this was when I was in my 20s. And I would have this dream maybe once a year where somebody is trying to assault me sexually. So when they would come close to me, I would pacify them. I would tell them, don't hurt me, it's okay, you can do what you want. And then I would wake up and I would ask myself, why do I have this dream and I have never been sexually assaulted?
Yeah.
You see? And it wasn't until I was in my 30s that I was able to figure out what that was about. And there were other dreams I used to have, like now when you are feeling oppressed and you are trying to call on the name of Jesus, but you are half asleep, half awake. It's almost like you feel like you're half asleep, half awake. It's what we call sleep paralysis. And so my body would be demobilized and I'm unable to act.
Yes.
You see, and this is a very common dream. And we know that dream has something to do with you feeling there is something in your conscious life that you're trying to figure out what it is. And you can't, but you feel helpless. And that is why you try to call on God, because that is the only place you are thinking you are going. So when you are awake, you want to kind of figure out what is it in my conscious life I am trying to work through, and I need to really reach out to God, because that's a sign that you need God's intervention. You see, so normally what happens when we wake up from such dreams, we get confused, we don't know what. Some of us feel like, now my first dream, I would feel very ashamed. So I would never share it with anyone until one day I got so mad because I was already in my healing process. I had done this book that is called Search for Significance, Finding Your True Worth in Christ, in your relationship with Christ. And so I had finished and I was doing very well, and then this dream came. And I said no. So I was in a community where I called one of the ladies, and she was a pastor, and I said, I need to figure out about this dream. I don't want it anymore. And when we started talking about the dream, and she told me, write it, that's when I realized where the root was. And the root was a time in high school where we were assaulted by, there was a situation where there was a near assault. You see?
Yeah.
And that time, I had made a commitment to God when I was 12 that I would never engage in sexual immorality.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine what I figured out then. My nervous system, my body stopped trusting God to protect me.
Okay.
Because you see, I had made a commitment. Why would you allow something like that to happen to me when we agreed that you're going to protect me? So in my head, in my mind, I kind of made the conclusion that God doesn't care about that part of my life. That's why because I used to ask myself, how come when I'm feeling pushed down, I can call on the name of Jesus, but when I am having this dream where somebody is trying to assault me sexually, I can't call the name of Jesus. I'm fawning, what we call, I am pacifying the person who is assaulting me in order to save myself. From what? From pain.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there is a lot of things that we need to dig deeper to understand that our body is going to react to current stressors according to how it has been wired to cope with life.
Well explained, Grace. Just within the same breath,
Yes.
How are unresolved stress, trauma, and emotional overload
Yes.
connected to procrastination and inconsistency?
Yes, now, this is good.
Yeah.
So what happens when you are helpless and there is nobody to come in and walk you through the aftermath of whatever the incident was that made you feel very afraid? And this is very subjective. So it can be anything like failing an exam.
Yeah.
You see? So it can be anything like being humiliated in front of other kids and unachekelewa. That in itself, it actually causes you to have an aftermath belief that no one is here to save me. So nobody comes afterwards and says, hey, by the way, mtoto, wakati watoto wengine walikuchekelea, how did you feel? And then they correct it. They help you process it and release it. So because it comes with shame, and shame is hiding. So now, because I didn't do any of that, I begin to develop a way of being, which is I have no one to help me. I have to rely on myself. And whatever it is that I don't know, then I don't have to do it. Now, if I come to a place where there is inconsistency has something to do with, I have been doing something and I am feeling some sort of boredom, tiredness, or it's too hard, you see. So it reaches a point where I give up.
Yeah.
I stop doing it. So I start off with making sure I wake up at 7, I make my bed, I go to the kitchen, I cook whatever I do, those things that I say I'm going to do this year. I start off very well. And then I encounter someone who is going to cause me some sort of pain, some sort of shift, and I am going to go into survival mode again.
Yeah.
Why did they do that to me? What is wrong with me? Why are people like this? You see? So what happens is that now I begin to feel discouraged. So the mood that comes with that experience, this current experience, takes me back to survival mode.
Okay.
Because I can't fight for myself. And if I do, I am going to feel guilty. I'm going to feel bad. Now I'm a bad person. Why did I shout? I should have done something different, you see. So what happens is that now I self-sabotage. And so the things that I had planned to do, because I'm not sleeping well, I'm not able to wake up at 7 like I usually, or 6 or 5. The way that I get so discouraged that I don't even go for my morning devotion. When I sit down to do my quiet time, my mind is just thinking about what happened yesterday. I am unable to let it go. You see?
Yeah.
So all these plans I had, procrastination comes in, because now procrastination is not the problem. It is the outcome.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Now, because, so for instance, I realize that for the way that we normally say, you realize that you are beginning to be inconsistent.
Yeah.
Now, what happens is that if I start to realize I'm being inconsistent, I start to have the narrative that is very subconscious. You are lazy. You have no one to help you. Why don't you know that? Now I have to go to the library. You see, I have to ask for help. No, I can't do that. Because in the past, I was not conditioned to know that it is safe for me to ask for help, because procrastination and inconsistency has a lot to do with feeling that I have an obstacle here, but I am not able to ask anybody for help. You see?
Yeah.
Now, thankfully, these days we have ChatGPT, but ChatGPT will give you information. But your body is up to you.
Yeah.
To be able to make yourself come out of that space. You see?
Yeah.
So the question is, can I still go through a certain situation that triggers these emotions and these thoughts And then they trigger my belief system and still act, do the things. See, we do that every day.
Yeah.
Hata nikikasirika nifanye nini, lazima nitaenda kazi. But you see, I'm dissociated. I am not actually experiencing work. People say that all the time. I am just there doing the thing. I remember when I was in the transition to move away from administrative work, because I was an administrator for a while, an office administrator. I was a secretary. Let me just call it that way. And so by the time I was in my 10-year mark, I was completely dissociated from the work. Okay. And I remember so clearly. We had a filing system, a physical filing, and I kept saying I need to finish. And I would start and not finish. And that is when I knew, this job, I'm done.
Done.
I am here. I used to say I'm here pushing papers because my heart was not in it at all. Yeah. But it wasn't because I'm a bad person, I'm a bad worker. No, it's because the season had ended and I needed to transition to something else. Yeah. And I did. And that's why I'm here today. You know, and so what I am trying to help us understand is that your body has reactions to what is going on in your mind, and what is going on in your mind has a deeper level that you need to figure out. It's called your core beliefs. And your core beliefs are the ones which trigger how you are acting right now. And it's very subconscious. So when somebody tells you, makes the statement, let's say my spouse doesn't like coming home on time, therefore they don't prioritize me. You see that statement right there? Yeah. What is the core belief? That I am not important. That's why. So I'm taking their behavior and I am giving it a meaning. Yeah. I'm labeling it. And that meaning is what is causing me distress. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And then when that happens, my body goes into action. Silent treatment, those are behaviors. Yeah. So that is the action that now my body is guiding me to. So by the time my spouse comes home, already my body language is showing that I am unhappy with you. I have gone into survival mode. So I am not really entering the relationship. I am blocking myself from you. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we do need to understand these things. Let me mention a couple of things here people can resonate with. Yeah. Now, when you are criticized, you are getting critical feedback, the nervous system response is fight. Yes? So fight. How does that, what is the behavior where we are in fight mode? Is defensiveness, arguing, counter-attacking. Yeah. You see? Now, the hidden cost of that, this is what is going to cost you, and it costs us, is damaged trust, a missed learning experience. There is an opportunity there for learning, and then there will be strained relationships. By the time people are married for 5 years, they are completely discouraged in the relationship. Yeah. And we need to understand that when we have these triggers, remember now, if your critical feedback means that you grew up in a space where there was a lot of criticism and judgment and comparison. You see, so today, when you are trying to finish a task, when you are trying to follow a certain goal that you have made for yourself, what is going to happen is that when you fail, that one day that you don't follow through with what you are supposed to do, what do? You critically judge yourself. Yeah. You compare yourself and you say, what's wrong with me? I'm never able to do anything. That message then triggers bodily reactions, which number one, like I said, number one is going to be now the avoidance. Because it's creating a lot of anxiety. Instead of being able to look at that and say, well, actually, Grace, you missed one day. And the reason why you missed one day is because something happened that disrupted your routine. Me, myself, I have known that. I will start something. But if there is something outside of what I'm doing that disrupts my routine, Like now, if I have to travel, and usually, if you leave your local space where you do your everyday things, and you go somewhere else, it is going to disrupt your normal. Exactly. So what I need to do, by the time, because now I'm aware of that, I have to create a plan of how I'm going to still continue with my goals where I will be, which is not my normal space. You see, for instance, if I'm called, like now, sometimes the media calls me and says, hey, can you come do something at 8 a.m. in the morning? So you see, it is going to disrupt my usual routine. Now, once I accept that, I do need to be intentional to say, by the way, I won't be able to do my quiet time. I won't be able to do like that. So sometimes what I have done is, instead of driving to town, I'll take an Uber if I can afford to do that. And then I will do my quiet time, whatever it is. So what I'm saying is that your nervous system, when it is dysregulated, it goes into fight or flight. There is no room for adjusting. There is no room for what we now call flexibility, that emotional. So we go into now I'm excited about that gig I have been given, but then I will not be able to do what I normally do. Now, for instance, if I go to a place where usually, my routine, my physical routine might be, I like to eat my vegetables in the morning or something like that. Then I go somewhere, they give me tea and mandazi. And I can't say no. So you see what I'm saying? Then when that happens, my system actually goes into dysregulation because it is not used, that is not the norm. And this is what I'm saying, that we do need to understand, after you have made your New Year's resolution, your body is the one which is going to make it happen. And you need to take care of your body. So if you want to be, if you wake up in the morning, you haven't had your nutrition situation proper. By the time you are 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you are dysregulated because your sugars are all over the place. And once these free classes that I'm going to give during the month of January on Saturdays, I will also have someone who can talk to us about nutrition and mental health. How you are taking care of your body is actually helping you succeed in your goals. You see? So these connections, this holistic way of looking at everything is going to be very helpful. Now, I know Leah, why Leah asked for that question is because her brain works very strategically. So tell me, how does it connect? What is this? And usually the melancholic and the choleric, they are very black and white. The sanguine and the phleg, they are very they can go with the flow. They are not their minds are not that strategically organized. They can be flexible. Now with the phlegmatic is more accommodation. They will accommodate people a lot. But the sanguine is going with the flow. You see. And the sanguine doesn't really look for deeper meaning. They are just flowing with it. Whatever you say, we keep flowing as long as we are connected. You see? But so we do need to understand that these coping mechanisms that we have developed over time, which we are calling all this. Hey, there is one I have to say. I know our time is almost up, but I have to say this one: missed opportunities.
Exactly.
You see, procrastination, inconsistency can lead to missed opportunities, and then that missed opportunities come with stagnation and self-doubt. You see. So what I'm saying is that we have talked a lot about the thoughts, and we have talked a lot about how each one of us, because of the way we are wired, we deal with distress, with stress, let's just say stress, or even happiness. Because, happiness is also, emotional. There are emotions which are triggered. I know people who, when they get some good money, they are so happy, they go blow it up. You see, so that's a coping mechanism that will lead to some sort of problem. When we talk about emotional numbness, it's very important for us to express that, because emotional numbness can lead now to stagnation because I'm not engaging. I am blocking feeling. Feeling is so important because it's what guides our action.
Wow.
So because you see, if you are feeling excited about what God did for you 2025, it causes your body to shift so that when you are at a place where you are self-doubting, you remind yourself like Samuel did, this far the Lord has been our help. So you remember, instead of going into worry that now takes you to a nervous system where you are in survival mode, you actually go into a space of hope. You see, and help, hope and help.
Okay.
And then now that shifts your nervous system.
All right.
Yeah.
Grace, well put. We've actually been able to basically lay the foundation of what we'll be focusing on in our subsequent sessions here. But you've mentioned about your Saturday classes.
Yes.
This particular Saturday.
Yes.
How can the listener take advantage of your sessions and from what time?
Yes. Now, on Saturday, WhatsApp me at a message. 0797 490 404 and just say free class on Saturday.
Okay.
And it will be at 8 p.m. over Zoom. Then I will forward you the poster and how to join.
Right.
I will be talking a lot about our that nervous system that I'm talking about. I will do a kind of an information class on how it looks like, what it is, and then how to start the process of shifting.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Grace. Asante sana.
Karibu.
You've now umeanzisha mwaka yangu vizuri. Yes, umeanzisha maanza mwaka. So if you meet me today, Leah, Bramwel, Happy New Year. Okay?
Yes, and we should say thank you, Leah, for always engaging.
Exactly.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Grace. This has been a very, very beautiful foundation.
Yes.
We will be building up slowly by slowly as we go through the remaining sessions throughout the year to just make our listeners understand what is it that they need to do and how they need to adjust so that they can enjoy life and also live by design.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
As simple as that. All right, but in the meantime, what's up, Grace, my dear listener? She has a class this particular Saturday on Zoom, 0797 490 404, 0797 490 404. And thank you for your company right from 6 a.m. That has been my time. I do wish you a very beautiful day, a productive Wednesday. Let's do this again tomorrow, God willing. Kwaheri.
This is Radio Waumini.
This is Radio Waumini, 88.3 FM. This is Radio